Hey guys, welcome back to. As you can see, we're like, why am I back to DirectX again? So, from my last tutorial, or I guess if you call it tutorial, for my DirectX, um, you guys, I made it in using the deprecated SDK. I was using the DirectX Deprecated SDK, so I came back here to remove that and use the integrated one, the updated version of DirectX. So from what I've read, it's DirectX 11.1. I'm not entirely sure what exactly it is, but I came back to the same project from where I left off from my last tutorial. And I guess what we can do now is just remove the SDK and update everything that I need in order to make it work. So if you guys want to do that, well then you should stay here and you should watch what it needs to be done. It's not that huge of a difference. It's just this. There's a lot to do because you have to change some stuff now. Some of the types, they're not called the same anymore. So if you want to stay here and you want to remove that um, deprecated SDK, then you should continue watching. If you guys know how to do that already, then cool. Or if you already have it, then cool, amazing. But I'm gonna use my engine tutorial from where I left off last time because I really don't want to recreate the entire engine again. So anyway, if you guys are left off in the same place where I left off last time, or using the similar thing, then let's go to your solution and go to properties. So in here, you want to go to the BC++ directories, and what you want to do, if you follow me exactly like last time, you want to remove that. You don't need that. That links it up to the actual deprecated SDK, and we don't need it anymore. So just make sure you remove that, press OK. You want to go to C++, C++, and you want to go, I believe, processor. I believe it was preprocessor. Yes. So we want to go to preprocessor. You want to include processor define in here. Let me see. And what we can put in here is basically you can call this in here. Basically, what that does is basically you allow access to not allow access, but you indicate that you want support for Windows 7. If you don't put this, then it will do, I guess, Windows 8 and later. So if you're using a Windows 7 computer, then you will want to put that so it supports Windows 7. Otherwise, it will not run. It will create an issue right at the beginning. So make sure you put that in there in preprocessor and processor definitions. Inside linker, update the libraries you have in here. So what are you gonna need in here? Wait, let me remove all of this. You're gonna basically use, that's all you're gonna need: the D3D11 library, the D3D compiler, the DXGOID, the DXGI, and the DXGOID. Why do I have two of them? I don't know why I had two of them. Sorry. You gotta be careful with that. So this is all the four you're gonna need. So you press OK once you've done that, and that's basically it that you need to do in here in the property pages. You apply, and if you run it, you will get a whole bunch of errors and everywhere. So that's where we can be fixing. So we can go file by file. Like, of course, I'm gonna be how do you say it? I'm gonna speed up some sections. So you guys don't have to see everything that I need to update. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what class. Okay. So you want to go to animated. I mean, if you still have this class, I'm not sure if you guys are following me exactly, but I'm gonna go with you guys actually following exactly where I left off last time. So I apologize. So in animated sprite, you want to call, it's not called D3DX matrix anymore. You're gonna call it XM float. You may not have it just yet because I have not called it. It will be called later, but it's called XM float 4x4. There's actually another one. Well, when I get to it, I'll let you know. So just for now, you change it to XM float. They're all capital. Remember, they're all capital. You want to change that. You want to go to camera. You want to do the same thing here. So for the matrix, change it to XM float 4x4. Now for this is not called D3DX vector 3 anymore. You want to call it XM vector. You know, it's weird. I gotta figure out. I haven't looked up why they call it XM. And for the include, it's not D3DX 10 math.h anymore. It's just called DirectX math. Let's see what else. And in here, you want to call a namespace that is using. It's called using namespace. And it's called DirectX, which initializes the XM vector, XM float, and all that. And like I said earlier, there's another called XM matrix, which seems like a little bit more reasonable than XM float by 4. But the issue with this one I was having was that it was creating a breakpoint error. It didn't happen all the time, and I was looking it up, and it says it's better off using this one instead. So I decided to use that, and I haven't gotten that error. So I guess it's just an issue on their end. Not sure exactly, but that gets initialized now. Which is awesome. So we're gonna go. Do we need anything here? Yeah, you want to update some of these stuff, I believe. So in here, you want to remove this. You're going to go D3D11 underscore 11. Oh, 11 underscore 1. And you want to include these other ones, DirectX math.h and DirectX colors. And that's just should be fine for that. And you also want to include the namespace as well. Don't forget the DirectX namespace. Resource manager. So there's stuff in here that I need to update in resource manager. Just resource manager, okay. So what do you want to do in here? Because we can update some stuff. So instead of LPC STR, we want to name it it's a W sharp pointer. You want to remove this, and you just. Oh no, wait, hold on. No, mind. Never mind, I lied to you guys. It's this one. So we remove so we were left off with this. Remove these from here, and we call it W sharp pointer for share file name. The reason why I removed the other two is because it's actually earlier we used two different files for the shaders, one for vertex shader and one for pixel shader. Now this one is just gonna call it an FX. So both pixel and vertex and pixel can be in the same file. So they updated and the file, so now it has to be updated with that. Make sure also the texture file as well gets updated. And that's about it for this, I believe. For resource manager, now we're gonna go to resource shader. And the same thing goes in here. We don't need all that stuff on the end. We're eventually gonna go to W sharp pointer. So that's gonna be done also for texture, resource texture, I mean. Okay, now we have a shader H, and there's a lot of stuff in here that needs to be updated. We want to update the DirectX to use the _1, the 3x math. You don't need the async anymore. That gets removed. And this one in the matrix buffer. And here we will be using this one. the XM matrix will be better off that way. And make sure you update these. Let's see what else needs to be updated here. Make sure you also want to update this. So you just have it use the W# pointer for shader file name, because you do not need all that. You want to update that. Also this one. You will not need that anymore. And also an output. Make sure it's not LPCTS, whatever. Kind of got confused there. Make sure it's a W# pointer. And that's about it for this. You're gonna go to sprites. For the texture, there's gonna be something new going on with the texture. And I will let you know. They'll come back to this because it will be updated, completely different. Make sure it's _1. We will come back to this texture. Right? This texture is gonna be a lot different, so do not worry about that. Well, I'll leave that till the end because we will be needing it. Alright guys, don't worry. And it's back in here in texture shader. Make sure you do WChar shader file name, and the same thing will go for the other initialize. Just make sure you just update that to be a W# pointer. And that's it for this one. Timer, vertex buffer. Okay. See vertex buffer. Make sure you're using the _1 and then DirectX math. So in here, I know earlier I mentioned there's an XM vector, but there's also an XM float 3, and it's better that way because this kind of tells it this is vector 2, this is vector 3, right? But in XM vector, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. Let's see. I mean, I can't even look at it. But in XM vector, there's a lot of stuff going on for ints, floats, and all that kind of stuff, and they are in arrays. So when you pass it into the vertex buffer, it goes crazy. It doesn't know what to pick. So with this one, it already knows it's a float 3 and a float 2, so it doesn't mess up anything. So I'm gonna use XM float 2 in here. So I suggest you do the same too, guys. I want you to. I mean, I let you figure out how to use it for XM vector then. That's up to you guys. But anyway, let's go to the resource shader. That way we don't get. What's this resource shader? Oh, never mind. Never mind. Anyways, you want to go back to animated sprite. In camera. What's this? What was the camera one? Was it XM vector? Yeah. Okay. So for the camera, there's also a function called, where's camera here? So instead of this, you want to use the XM vector set. But this has 4 parameters because it's a 4 vector. It's a vector 4, which is why I'm telling you it's a little bit weird. Like if you look into it, there's one for floats, there's one for ints, there's one for the 16-bit one, 32-bit one, the 64-bit one, 64-bit ints, 8-bit ints. So it has all of this stuff in here, which is crazy status going on. Which sometimes, so I mean, in here you can also use an XM float 3. It works fine with it. So it's up to you guys. Up to you guys what you want to use. Okay, so for this one, you want to update it. So you use the XM store float 4x4. It basically converts the matrix into a float 4x4. So which is much easier. So you want to take the address of ortho matrix, and you want to pass in. There's a different version of this D3DX matrix ortho LH left hand. So and the other version is called XM matrix orthographic LH, which is basically the same thing. It's basically the same thing, just without the first parameter, because you don't need that anymore. Oh, well, I can type to that. So basically, it converts the XM matrix to an XM float by 4x4. And the same thing you would want to do for this one. You want to take the address of the projection matrix, and you want to get the XM matrix perspective FOB-LH, which takes the same parameters as well. That gets updated. You want to change. There's a lot of stuff that has to be changed here. So you want to call XM vector. XM. Well, and basically you want to call the XM vector sets on these guys. And make sure it's a 0f because there's 4 parameters in here. Rotation matrix. What did I do? Okay. In this one, you want to use the XM matrix, which is fine, and you want to set it to. You'll want to set it to the M rotation. You call the F32. And remember, this are. Each one of these is an array of 4 because X, Y, Z, and W. So you want to set that. Like I said, it's a little bit weird, which is confusing. But wait, I don't need it. I don't need the 4th one here. What am I doing here? So it has that. It does the. So basically, that's a replacement for this one. Now you want to say the look at the different version of this one. You want to say the look at equals the XM vector 3 transform chord, and you want to pass in the look at and the rotation matrix. And the same thing will go for the one on the bottom, but just gonna be the up instead. Then look at stays the same, and this one is gonna be the XM store float 4x4. You can pass in the address of the view matrix, and you want to call the XM matrix look at left hand. You want to pass the M position, the look at, if I didn't spell that, and the up. Basically, this is the replacement for this one. So make sure this returns an XM vector, XM float 4x4. I really want to copy that. So update some of these. There's X, Y, Z. The same thing here. I'm gonna copy this, copy this, copy this. All right. So here's this another. It's not D3DX pi anymore. It's XM pi. I believe it was XM pi. Yeah. So there you go. Oh, it's not position though, it's rotation. You don't want to mess up that. Okay. So that's it for the camera. I don't think I did anything for DirectX Manager. DX Manager engine. We'll come back to these. Like I said, I'm gonna leave it to the end. This XMPy. Make sure you update that with the camera. If you still have it there, depending on how you have it, this XM float 4x4. Why did I do this? Identity on it. Is this even being? It's not even being used. So why do I have it here? I don't remember why I had this in here, guys. But if you still have it for some reason, just remove that because I do not need it. Okay, so you want to go in Entity. Update this to W sharp pointer. All of this, it will not have it, so it's fine. Everything else stays the same. A resource shader. Remember, we don't need that either. Remove that, make it to Dover Shore. And remove these because we don't need that either. Why is it? Oh, because I haven't updated that yet. Resource shader, texture, change it to a char. Texture, I have not touched texture, so I'll come back to that later. Shader, remove this. I think I forgot to do that on that, didn't I? W sharp pointer, we'll come back to that right now. Let's go to the shader. Not updated these for some reason. Using namespace DirectX fixes all those issues. Alright. We will come back to this. We have to update all of this stuff. So do not worry about these. We will come back to these. Because it's just a little bit of different things that we have to do. Same thing with this one. We'll come back to it. This is W sharp pointer. We'll come back to that. This XM float 4x4. Don't worry about that. And we have to update this what you call it. I mean, most of these is not going to be here anymore. Like, you don't need any of these. So what we have to do in here instead, you want to call, I mean, you want to use the XM matrix transpose. But you want to call something new that I haven't mentioned to you guys. It's called XM load float 4x4. And what this is, it converts a XM float 4x4 into a XM matrix. And the reason I did it this way is because here was the place where I was having that crash bug, that breakpoint crash bug. So I needed to change it to this weird way, which is crazy. I don't know how I was creating that why I was having that bug, but I looked online and they said to do this instead. So that's what I did. I think it's a bug on their end and they need to fix. But this works as well. So just make sure you change these into that. And that's about it for this shader. And go to sprite. Didn't do anything in sprite. Alright then, guys. Woo! So we basically changed everything that we needed to do, or what we wanted to do. So what we gotta do, I'm gonna close everything but this. Yes, save. So let me see the header file for this stuff. I know we're gonna fix all that stuff right now, because there's things that are supposed to be called different now for the shader and texture. So I'm gonna do the shader first because there's not a lot of stuff going on in there at the moment. Let's try to figure out what needs to be done. Okay, so you want to go to shader in the header file, and I believe, yeah, you want to include d3d compiler.h, which will have the function that we need in order to compile our shader. So in our initialize, which something can be something weird that I'm gonna do right now. So I apologize for what I'm gonna do right now. So as an in string, instead of calling a string, you want to call it w string. I'm gonna call that w string, which will convert that w char into make sure you call that w char pointer. Converts that w char to a pointer, and basically here you want to call, then I will convert that w string into a regular string. So you're just gonna call dot begin and dot end. This stays the same. So in here, we don't want to do that anymore. Let me spell that. Come on now. Okay. So in here, you want to pass. Well, I really needed to do that. No. And this could be tweaked out more better. Hold on. So you just go to initialize shader in here. Initialize shader. Remove the other one. And just. So it'll be as it's called shader file name. Remove this because I don't need that anymore. Initialize shader. I want the actual code for it. Really, you can make me look for? Oh, that's just right here. All right. So in here, we don't want this one. We're just gonna call this shader file name and call this a w char pointer. So instead of this, we don't have the D3DX11 compile from file. We don't need that anymore. We can call something called D3D compile from compile from file. That's the function we're going to be using. We're going to pass in a shader file name. We're going to pass in null, and then here we're going to call it BS main, which is the main function of that will be in for our vertex shader. That's the function name that we're going to be using. We're going to be using the 4.0. I haven't tried the 5 yet, but we'll try it afterwards. Give me a second. And instead of D3 D10 shader enable access strictness, it's going to be called D3 compile enable strictness, and it's going to be 0, and you can remove that null, the extra null that we don't need. So it's going to be strictness 0, the address of vertex shader buffer, the address of error message, and remove that last null. That should be it for that. Otherwise, shader file name, convert that to lpcstr, cast it, not convert, I mean. And the same thing you want to do for this one. But in picture, it's going to call PS main. I mean, this doesn't have to be called this. It just depends on the name of the function that's called inside the shader. So the main function for the vertex shader and the main function of the PS. I named the BS main and PS main. So it just depends on what you can call it, and make sure you can be calling that consistently. If not, then just leave it how I left earlier. Just pass in a parameter here, then have a string, and that's it. But for me, I'm gonna keep it consistent. Okay, now I gotta remove that extra null from the end. And this one. Convert that to lpcstr. Cast it, not convert. I keep saying convert, huh? So it says this. That stays the same. Everything else stays the same. I don't believe there's anything else in here going on that I need to do. And there's an error here. Convert that to lpcstr. And that's about it, guys. That's it for our shader function. Nothing huge was going on here. Just some updates with this. That should work. If not, I'll come back to it again. Okay. So now for the texture. That's a little bit different now. It's not like drastically different. So what you want to do is basically I'm gonna have the website or the URL in the description. But basically you want to download some files from the Microsoft DirectX SDK, DirectX toolkit. So it's gonna be in here. This is the website. I'm gonna have it in the description if you guys need it anyway. So in here, what you want to do is basically you want to search for a file called WIC texture loader.h and CPP file. So you'll find it in the include and the source file. The include contains the WIC texture loader, which you're going to be needing. And there's going to be other files here that you're going to be needing, which also can be included in this GitHub. So for example, I think it's in CPP file. And the CPP, so DirectX helper, platform helpers, and the PCH, they are all included in here. So just make sure you download it with it as well. So yeah, that's basically all I needed to do in here. So once you do, I'm gonna include it real quick. I'm gonna cut it so I can include it really quick. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright then, guys, I already included it. I apologize for the noise in the background. But anyway, so we want to do, go to texture. And here you want to include the WIC texture loader. Once you already have it, you already included it into your project. And everything else in here stays the same. Just for the initialize, you want to call it W sharp pointer. Once you have that, you want to go to texture. Make sure this is a W sharp pointer. Okay. In here, we want to do the same thing as I did in the other one. Apologize for this W string thing. I gotta figure out a better way of doing this once I find it. Or this capital N. Okay. And then here be a string. Dot begin. Dot N. So once you do that, that stays the same. So in here, instead of D3DX11 create shader resource B from file, it's gonna be called the create WIC texture. Create WIC texture from file. So you want to pass in the device, the file name. You pass in null for the first one and remove the second null. And I believe that's it. Why do I have this? It's undefined. Already included in here, so why then it's not? Yeah, I forgot to do that. Make sure you include DirectX, the namespace. I forgot to include that. I'm like, why does it not work? So yeah, so we make sure you update that, and that's it. That's it about this, guys. Nothing huge going on here. Let's see, did I have any other errors here? Yes, I know I do have some errors, but let's fix some of these errors. This will be called an L. Make sure you put an L in the front. Remove this because this I don't need anymore. And here for this, whatever texture name, make sure you put a .fx afterwards. We have to create that file. We haven't done it yet, so but don't worry, we will create it. And make sure you pass an L in the front as well. That fixes that. There's the identifier, XM float component. Why do I have an error for the component? Make sure in here you also include using namespace DirectX. Let's see what else do I have in here. Fatal error. Really? Alright. Yeah, I removed this lib. So you can either leave it here or you can just add it into the defines in your project solution. So solution properties. And you can also include it in here as well. So basically it ends up being 5 that you're gonna be needing. I was like, why is that having an issue? But I just figured it out right now. Yeah, that should be clean. That should be fine. So now what I need in here, we continue folder, shaders, convert one of these. You know, just put a copy, and just make sure you call it .fx. Yes, you want to open it. Hold on. You want to open it, either whatever notepad or whatever you have. And it already has the BS stuff in there. Now you want to get the PS. You want to copy this function, the picture shader main function. Go to texture FX and put it at the bottom. In my case, I called this the BS main. As you remember, inside the shader. So as you remember, I put BS main and PS main. So that's what that's supposed to be, the name of that function. So inside FX, make sure you put that in there, and also make sure you include the globals as well, and put it at the top. Alright, and that should be it about this. Let's run it, and it crashed. Why did it crash? Oh, yeah, I forgot. There's another thing I need to do. Where is that? Oh, engine effects. Anything to believe in some player? There's one last thing I need. No, 9 player. What was it? A game scene, I believe. In here, I believe this is null. So returns false. And the reason being is that make sure you call texture.fx. There you go. There you go, guys. You're using DirectX without using the deprecated SDK. Awesome. I hope you guys like this tutorial. I apologize for being a little bit stuff going on, but you have to basically update all the matrices and all the 3D expectors and all that kind of stuff, and some of the functions for loading the texture and shader needed to be updated. So basically that's all you needed to do for this. So I hope you guys like this. It's not really a tutorial, but you know what, I'm calling it a tutorial just because I want to. I don't know what to name this, so you know, I don't know, whatever. But anyways, I hope you guys like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm not sure what exactly I want to do. Like always, I like some feedback. I wouldn't mind some feedback from you guys, whatever you guys want me to do in the future. Either any other tutorials, any projects, game projects, kind of stuff. I know some people mentioned Mario, but I had to update my DirectX engine real quick to be a little bit closer to my OpenGL engine, to be somewhat similar to it. So I need to clean up my DirectX engine, and once I do, and then if I haven't received anything for you guys or what you guys want to do, then I'll figure out what kind of project I want to do next. But like always, I like some feedback. Thumbs up this video, share with other people, so that way they can give me feedback on it too. And maybe any future videos, or game videos, or project videos they want to do. But anyways, I hope you guys like this, and I'll see you guys later. Signing out, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.